Legion Tactical Cutlery.
On the line!
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? It's Grugs here, Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back, troops, Legionnaires, and new recruits. As always, appreciate you guys and gals checking out my channel and my videos. All right, in front of you, you see the Takumitak Exit Point. Awesome looking blade. Let's check it out. Legionnaires, inspection time. What's your EDC? What are you guys carrying? What is your backup? Today I am again carrying my dispatch knives drop point folder. It's a great knife. Veterans, active military, as always, we appreciate you guys and gals. Thank you very much for your service. Enjoy the video. Quick specs, let's go over them. Overall length 11 inches, blade length 5.5 inches, handle length 5.5 inches. Knife weight is 11 ounces with a blade shape of a drop point. Blade material D2 steel, hardened to 61 to 62. Blade thickness is 4.71 millimeters to 4.93 millimeters. Blade grind is flat with a plain edge and a black stonewash finish. Handle material is G10 and it does come with an awesome kydex. Quick close-up and we will get started. Let's check this out. Okay, beautiful drop point blade. This blade is a little bit different. If you take a look, it does have a sawback. Now, I'm not a big fan of sawbacks because usually they don't really work, but this seems like it's pretty sharp. So I'm looking forward to making a notch out of this sawback, okay? It does have a fuller over here. It is a low saber type grind. There is no swedge, but it's decently thick, all right? As you could see, the handle is, the full Tang goodness is pretty thick. It's got some jimping rear and in the front. Okay, it does have an option for a lanyard and a lanyard hole, and I will be putting a lanyard there. G10 scales. They're on the thin side, but I'm going to assume that this is more of a fighting knife type configuration, but they do say that it is multi-purpose. All right, we've got screws here that you could unscrew to remove the scales if need be. Just a simple design. There is the choil. All right, just a good looking knife. Now I definitely want to put it to the test. Let's check out the sheath real quick. Same quality taco style sheath as all Takumitak knives that I've been testing out. This is probably my 4th or 5th knife I am testing from Takumitak, and so far all their knives have been spot on, sharp out of the box, and just damn fine blades. Also, their sheaths are pretty damn good too. It's got a Chinese tech lock where you open it up over here like this to loosen it. You pull the tabs. These are removable over here to adjust it to any belt size. Horizontal and vertical configuration for carry. Again, pretty decent quality. Let's pop the knife in. As always, with Takumitak, I have had no issues with their sheaths, and it's always a decent package. All right, let's get to doing some work. Legionnaires, just a simple branch, small test. We're gonna make a couple of logs out of this, you know, short logs. Do a little chopping, you know, and see how this works out. The blade is really light, you know. It's again well balanced. It doesn't feel front heavy or rear heavy. All right, but as you notice, I am wearing the gloves, but I didn't put on the lanyard yet because the handle seems to feel, you know, pretty comfortable so far that I don't need the lanyard. Again, nothing too heavy duty, just a small branch. You know, maybe you wanted to, you're in the woods, you want to make a staff or a spear of some sort. And I'm trying to use every part of the blade. And as you can see, it's making quick work here. My lanyard unloosened. It just caught me here for a second. So I'm just going to take it off for now. All right. And just continue without using a lanyard. Now, I did forget to mention, this does feel rough a little bit on the hand. That's why I am wearing the gloves. But when I'm going to do some other work, like feather sticks and stuff like that, I want to see what it actually feels like without gloves. So expect that test. Yeah, I mean, the handle, it's long enough where you could, you know, have all 4 fingers and, you know, go to town here. Just make some notches here, some V notches all the way around. Pretty good. Definitely a light duty knife, in my opinion. Would be good for light work in the military, you know, or law enforcement. But I can't deny the fact that it's doing some outdoor work so far. We're almost there. All right. Excellent. We're good to go. No doubt a real decent chopper. Now, I'm kind of curious to see what the batoning is going to be like, especially with that sawback. So, fixed my lanyard. But real quick, I want to try this out, okay? Well, at least it's making a notch. All right, so it's pretty effective. I mean, look at that. Okay, look how deep that is, you know? So it's an effective sawback, sharp, nice and sharp. I'm just wondering how the batoning is gonna work out. So let's give it a try. That's what we're here for, is to test out this knife, okay? Well, it split it. Well, that's real good. Now, to be fair, I am using the forward part without the saw over here to do a little bit of work, but I am also hitting the saw part. It'll definitely destroy your baton if you're not too careful, but you know, it is. Let's see if I could just slice through this. But it is definitely effective. All right, and it is sharp because it just went through the fibers over here. Excellent. All right, so that seemed to work out okay, even though it turned out to be a thin piece. I'll get to cutting some more. Let's do this again. Make some nice feather sticks. All right, cool. I've got some feather sticks here. Let's do a little bit more batoning. Again, I'm curious. It's still pretty, I mean, look at those notches right there. So definitely the sawback is working out real well. Let's do a little bit more batoning. See if I can get through this thick piece now. Yep. Look at that. Very nice. I'm going to baton the wood area over, I mean the sawback area over here, because I'm kind of curious after I baton it if it's still sharp. You know, my other concern is, how do you sharpen something like that? I got to ask the Takumitak. And I did go through the knot right there, which is good. Let's finish this up. All right. Get rid of those fibers. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Better process this down to smaller feather sticks. then we'll test out that saw back again. I'm kind of curious, you know, from hitting that saw back, if it'll still remain sharp or not. Okay. So far we processed these sticks. Let's continue on batoning. And let's see if I can get the whole blade here. And I'll baton using the saw back. Let's cut these fibers. Yeah, right through. All right, good. I got another log over here. Let's test. All right, that's a decent sized notch. Look at that. You know, look at that. It's staying sharp, it seems. But again, I haven't done that much work on it. So interesting knife. It looks like you can baton by the saw back. I wouldn't recommend it doing it all the time, but you know, at least you know that it can do it. Let's move on. All right, troopers, you know what? I'm feeling like, you know, I'm not putting this knife through its paces. So I have a little bit thicker log. Okay, check it out. It's thicker for sure. And, you know, I'm just going to give it another test, okay? So, it'll just make me feel better. I'm going to do a little vertical batoning, and I am going to use the saw back. Now, troops, I definitely recommend using gloves because the rear part over here of the jimping, it's a little rough on the hand. And I guess because of the thin scales, I do feel some hand shock with this one, okay? Again, I didn't think that this is a, I mean, the advertisement says multi-roll, and it's doing it, okay? As you can see, it's starting to split the wood. But I think it's more for like military use, combat use, you know, in my personal opinion. But we're going to keep on going forward and see what this knife can do. Definitely getting hand shock. Okay, giving it a little bit of a beating to get that knife out. So it's stuck in there good. So now you guys know for a fact I'm giving this blade a bit of a workout, but I need to loosen it up. So the vertical batoning is doing fine. It's definitely chewing up the baton. But you know what, now let's continue on with the horizontal batoning. All right, just in my opinion, way more effective, you know. Again, I'm going to be beating on this knife handle just to loosen it up. As you can see, I'm also beating on the blade, and I'm getting some serious cuts over here on the stick. All right. While we're at it, You know, let's just, so far, so good with the sharpness. A little bit different review, a little stranger than usual. This knife is a little different for me. But I mean, it looks like it's still sharp after, you know, beating the blade itself, the sharp bevel with the baton. I mean, I think we're looking good. So let me just clear this off and we will continue until this log is split. Okay, we are getting there. So far the edge is looking good, you know. I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm having my reservations with this knife, but so far it's coming through, you know. It's got a nice grind, V grind, you know. It's a really nice V. Let's finish up over here. Now it's starting to split real good. Maybe I could finish up with the vertical. All right, cool. Very good. I want to make quarters. Let's make a quarter. Actually, let's do the thicker piece, okay? Now that I have more blade. Definitely easier now that I have more blade to hit the baton with. All right, here we go, quarters. But now I feel better that I use this log to test out batoning. Now let's just check out the sawback since I gave the sawback such a beating. Look at that. It's still going now. The width of the blade, you know, as it tapers, if it's in the larger area, is stopping the blade from, you know, still making that notch. But here, still effective, troops. All right, I'm satisfied. We're good to go. Let's make some feather sticks. Awesome, so far so good. This blade is surprising me. Let's just do some feather sticks and then we'll also do, you know, a tip test. So let me get the thinner sticks over here. Let's get rid of some of this bark. It's coming right off, as you can see, and it's biting in deep. So here, look at these deep bites that I'm getting here. All right, and now let's see if I can make a little feather stick. Let me make sure I'm in the camera. Wow, look at that. Now, you know, I was beating the living daylights out of this thing. And, you know, Takumitak's claim of sharp out of the box, man, is not a joke. This is pretty awesome. This is pretty awesome. So heat treat is decent, spot on. You know, just doing a fine job. Awesome. All right. Great. I'm pretty good with the feather stick, and so you know it's sharp, especially after the beating that I gave it. Now, here are some finesse work. I made some curls over here. Now I'm just kind of curious about the tip, so let's do a tip test. Now, again, the jimping in the rear hurts, plain and simple. All right, I'm not going to sugarcoat for anybody. It is a little bit on the rough side. You know, maybe Takumitak wants to take some advice and just, you know, polish off these edges over here. But other than that, you got to wear gloves. All right. So let me try a tip test, see if I could split this wood. Okay. Yeah, great. Look at that. Nice. Let's do it again. All right. Okay, a little bit awkward piece, but I just want to make sure I'm safe. So just pommeling the tip into the piece of wood. Let me get this lanyard around my hand so I don't slip. You know, it does have a small guard here. I mean, Takumitak, in my opinion, man, make this a total combat knife. Give it a you know, a nice longer guard over here. You know, maybe a guard on this side too. This thing would be a badass combat knife, you know? All right. Okay. Now the log here is very, very soft. So what I'm going to have to do is just finish. There we go. All right, awesome. Okay, so far so good. You can see it's splitting the wood. Let me finish this off. There we go, troops. All right. Tip is looking good. It's nice and straight, you know. The edge is still looking good. Let's see. Yeah, at least you could choke up to, you know, get real close, do some close-in work. So far, so good. Let's see at the tip. Yeah, look at that. Cool. I'm not 100% sold that this is like an all outdoor knife. It's got some issues, man. I definitely, when I was doing the tip test and pounding down on a stabbing, it did feel like I was, gonna slip. Okay. I guess because the handles are a little slicker than usual, maybe some more texturing. Again, maybe a little bit longer guard. I think this knife has a lot of potential though, and as a combat knife, tactical, law enforcement, military, the knife is good as is, but outdoors, I'll have to be honest, this would not be my first choice. It's still a good knife though. It's high quality, it's sharp, etc. It wouldn't be my first choice for an outdoor blade. Okay, let's move on. I'm still getting used to this knife, but let's try a little carving, I guess, So I definitely want to use the sawback. Let's just make a notch. Now, making a notch is real easy. The initial notch. It's awesome. I mean, look how, let me get a good close-up. I want you guys and gals to see how deep that is, Okay, so that's a good start for a notch, in my opinion. All right, so all right, and now let's put the number 7. Cool. That was quick work, And then I guess you use the blade to refine, the notch and stuff. But I guess if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can. And you can make a little different angles with this sawback because it's so sharp. So, and again, troops, I am definitely not used to anything like this. But as you could see, it's doing it. There you go. All right, troops, listen. You know, after all that batoning, I am really good to go with this knife. So, you know, let's conclude. Let's see what this bad boy did. Legionnaires, all right, man. You know, this knife did surprise me. No matter how I slice it, this knife did everything that I asked it to do, okay? It's got a few quirks, all right? I do feel hand shock. The jimping in the rear is a little rough, okay? Maybe the handles are a little bit thin. You put a guard here. You know, it's got some improvements, in my opinion, that I see, you know, I can envision in my head with this knife. But you cannot deny that this knife did do the job pretty much like any other knife that I've tested on this channel, all right? Individual curls, feather stick, and it's still sharp. All right, check this out. I didn't know if anybody noticed this before, but I did chop through a knot, all right, or cut through that knot, and it did a fine job. And you know it's sharp. Look at all that kindling over here. Quartered and halved this larger log because I didn't think my first log that I was testing was, you know, made me feel good. So, and surprisingly enough, troops, if you guys are a fan of sawbacks, this is one sharp, functional sawback knife, okay? And as you could see, it did make that number 7 notch, and it did it pretty quick, all right? Still, troops, I can't help but, you know, give my honest opinion on this knife. More of a combat tactical role, you know, law enforcement. You know, if you guys any of you guys have more experience of using the sawback, please let me know. You know, what else would you use it for? Because the only thing I know of right now is doing notches. You know, maybe cutting some ties, maybe. I don't know. I would have to test it out, you know. But I have no doubt that this is a capable knife out in the field or in the kitchen. Again, it surprised me, you know, for the most part. So it's a decent knife. If this is something that you like, you know, and you're still interested in getting something like this, man, it's nice. All right, it's definitely a decent blade. Okay, all right, troops, legionnaires, and new recruits. As always, I appreciate you guys and gals checking out my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this knife. This is the Exit Point, and you know, again, it did a fine job. I mean, look at the work that it did over here, you know. So definitely let me know. I kind of am curious to hear your thoughts on this one, but still that Takumitak quality, sharpness out of the box, high quality sheath. You know, even for a collector, if this is just something that you want to put in your box and just leave it up on the shelf and look at it every once in a while, you know, they also make a satin version of this, and I kind of like the satin version of it, but pretty badass, you know. No issues with the blade whatsoever. That's just some wood on here. That is not chipping. That is just wood, but everything is straight. Tip is not bent, you know, very nice. And that sawback, man, is still sharp. So I don't know if Takumitak USA watches my videos or not, but please comment below and let us know how we would sharpen something like that, you know. All right, troops, legionnaires, and new recruits, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals. You know, definitely get in on the conversation on this knife. I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys have to say. And I want to bring awareness to everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans and active military out there that wants to get out of the service. They do face challenges. And one of these challenges is suicide. So at the end of this video, please pause on the slides. There will be websites, phone numbers that you can contact. Also, all this information will be available in the description and comment section. All right, troops, legionnaires, and new recruits, as always, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Until the next time, at the ready, troops. Hold the line. Take care.
Legionnaires!